Welcome to FRC Media News for Thursday, April 12th, 2018. I'm Keith Tebow. Governor Charlie Baker was in the area this week, and he spoke about a number of issues of interest to the region, including South Coast Rail. We share details on an ongoing citywide fire hydrant flushing program, and summer is right around the corner, and we've got the latest information for residents to enroll their children at Camp Welch. But first, let's check in with digital news editor Will Richmond of the Herald News. We go over the headline news of the week. Will, how are you?
I'm good, Keith. Good to see you again.
Same here. A lot going on this week. Let's start with purple bags and trash. We talk about it quite often on this show. This week, the City Council brought in the Correa administration, members of the administration, to talk about a number of issues. And one of them was the future of the purple bag recycling program here in Fall River. Mayor Jaziel Correa last year during the campaign had pledged that he is looking to get rid of the purple bag program. But it looks like, according to city administration officials, that that may not be happening anytime soon.
Yeah, at this point, they're still running the numbers and trying to figure out what the next fiscal year will bring budget-wise. They mentioned that they are looking to fund education at 101% of net school spending. And there are other expenses, obviously personnel expenses always go up and other related costs. So it just seems that as they are still not finalizing the budget, at this point, they're not ready to commit to eliminating the pay-as-you-throw program, but they're not saying that it's definite to stay either.
Right. So we'll have to see when the budget is released. I believe it's sometime about a month from now, middle of May, I believe, that the mayor's office has to send something to the city council. Is that correct?
Correct. There's a May 15th date by ordinance now, so we should have some clarity on just what the budget will look like and what's going to fund it, like you said, in about 1 month.
All right. Shifting to economic development issues, another topic we talk about quite a bit on the show. It looks like that the city, and this was just posted on the Herald News website this afternoon, looks like the city is moving forward with a proposal to bring upwards of 500 more jobs to the industrial park area, Innovation Way. Tell us what we know.
Sure. At this point, there's not a lot known, but what we do know right now is the Redevelopment Authority voted an executive session on Wednesday night to enter into a letter of intent agreement with this unknown company. The basics are that they're looking to build a 1 million square foot facility with the potential of 500 would have been described as blue collar type jobs in that facility. At this point, because of the preliminary nature, no information on the name, the type of company it is, the exact location within the biopark, or any really related information is known. But that vote on Wednesday night does sort of start the process to allow this company to test the land, begin site design, and related aspects up in the biopark. So there is some progress moving. Nothing is a certain situation at this point, but it's better than nothing at all, I guess.
Right. And the only thing that's mentioned in the article is that it's a national company, so it's not like a regional or a local organization that's looking to expand in the industrial park area of Innovation Way. And the other interesting aspect is that the Redevelopment Authority used the work of FROED, which is its business agent, to broker this deal. So there is still cooperation between the city and FROED, at least right now. Elsewhere, in other news, we talked about, I believe, a few weeks back, the fact that Ocean State Job Lot is going to be moving its location to a larger facility, the old Shaw's Supermarket in the far south end of Fall River. And this week, it looks like Ocean State Job Lot will be getting some tax help from the city of Fall River to make that expansion.
Yeah, so for about the first time in a year, the TIF board met this week and has given its approval to a tax increment financing plan that will lower the amount that has to be paid on new property taxes going forward over the next couple of years. So that will help to pave development there. As we've reported before, the job lot will be going into that Shaw site, like you mentioned, and there's also room for additional businesses. And just recently, Job Lot finalize the purchase of that building rather than just leasing it for their use. So there is some progress there, and there will be a tax break. It does need to go forward to the city council as
Right.
well for final approval, but there is some movement there, and I can't imagine we'd see the city council object much to it at this point.
No, especially if there's an expansion, potentially more jobs again for that company. So again, some good economic news here in the city of Fall River. And finally, I guess potentially some other good economic news. The State Cannabis Control Commission, which is formed to regulate the licensing of recreational marijuana facilities across the Commonwealth. They came up with a list of 20 applicants that are sort of moving forward in the process as we head toward July 1st, when some of these facilities can actually maybe begin to do some work. And of those 20 applicants, 2 are in the city of Fall River. What can you share with us on this?
Sure. So these 2 have been granted that priority application status. It is Hope Heal Health, which is located up on West Street.
Yep.
And also Canatech, which will be located on Hartwell Street, very close to in between Hartwell and Plymouth Avenue. So these facilities, they will be given that an early review by the Cannabis Commission. This is done in part because they've already been granted preliminary status approval due to their status as a medical marijuana provider as well. So, the state is aiming for July 1st to begin awarding licenses or the potential of recreational sales. Not sure at this point if that licenses will be awarded by that date. And the Cannabis Commission has said they expect to approve more sites for the priority status as well. So there's still a lot to figure out here, but we are racing quickly towards that July 1st date and the start of sales for recreational marijuana. So, we might see something move quickly here on the new business revenue form.
Right, and it looks like that according to the article, the 20 applicants that have been given that priority certification can submit their applications beginning next week, April 17th, although the Cannabis Control Commission cannot begin issuing licenses until June 1st. And even if some licenses are issued then, that's a month before July 1st. So there may be still some time before we see anything like this in Fall River, but again, more movement. So, all right, Will, what's coming up over the next few days?
Sure. Well, this weekend brings with it the Boston Marathon, and this is the 5th year of the Boston Marathon bombings. And of course, we had the local tie here of UMass Dartmouth, which was the school that marathon bomber Dokar Sarnaev was attending. So we're taking a look at UMass Dartmouth and how things may have changed there in the last 5 years, any policy, procedures, or anything that they may have adjusted in those 5 years since, as well as to see what sort of memory people on campus have of him, half a decade later.
Yeah. All right, sounds good. We'll talk again next week. Take care.
All right, you too, Keith.
We'll have more FRC Media news after this.
Here are some job descriptions on the latest hot jobs list from the Fall River Career Center. Communications Coordinator. Citizens for Citizens, located at 264 Griffin Street, has an immediate opening for a full-time communications coordinator to work with central administrative staff and project directors, developing and implementing communication plans, social media, and community outreach initiatives for the agency. Job number 10419520. Paraprofessional. The Fall River Public School Department, located at 417 Rock Street, is looking for a full-time paraprofessional to assist the curriculum supervisor in the instruction and supervision of kindergarten students. Job number 10419737. Quality Engineer Product and Testing. Whirlpool Corporation, located at 88 Current Road, is in need of a full-time quality engineer product and testing to develop and implement products to comply with standards and customer requirements. Job number 10419324. South Coast Health System is looking to fulfill the following positions in the Fall River area. Occupational Therapist, job number 10415606. Radiology Technologist, job number 10415607. Food Service Specialist, job number 10415699. Phlebotomist Laboratory Assistant, job number 10415593. For more information on these or other positions, visit jobquest.detma.org or call the Fall River Career Center at 508-730-5000.
Next year, the City of Fall River will be negotiating a new contract with Comcast to provide cable service to subscribers. Public input is essential to a successful contract renewal. To collect this input and to better position the city to meet its communications needs for the next 10 years, FRCmedia has commissioned a community needs assessment. We need your help. We're holding a series of 3 focus group meetings to gauge community interest in the future of cable communications in Fall River. The meetings are grouped by special interests. However, attend any meeting you'd like based on your schedule. The first will be held Wednesday, May 16th from 3:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. and will focus on local education. The second will be held Thursday, May 17th from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. for local government officials and businesses. The final focus group will also be on Thursday, May 17th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. This will be geared toward local nonprofit organizations and the community at large. All meetings will take place in the community room at the Spencer Borden Elementary School, 1400 President Avenue. Refreshments will be served. For more information and to register for a focus group meeting, visit frmedia.org/focus groups or call us at 774-357-2391. Help us shape the local communications landscape in Fall River. Take part in our community focus group sessions May 16th and 17th. Welcome back. Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker was guest speaker at a legislative dinner held this week at Whites of Westport. Among the topics, the fact that the birth of South Coast Rail is on the governor's top priority list.
Now, we talked a lot with folks here in this region about some of the key issues for them. And I think the folks in Fall River were actually surprised when we put the Route 79 project on the grid and started to chase it. I had a bunch of people came up to me, geez, we didn't think anybody'd ever do that. I said, why? It's like your number one priority. Well, yeah, but. I don't know, number one priority? So we put it on the grid. And on South Coast Rail, we listened to a lot of people. We had a lot of different points of view, and we got really worried about the fact that the date on this thing just kept moving farther and farther back. 2030. That'd be like the 5th Polito term or something. So we said there's got to be a better way to at least create something. Which then led to the whole conversation about phase 1 and phase 2. And we now have the environmental approval to go ahead with phase 1. And we're going to start spending serious money. You folks are going to start to see something that people have talked about for years.
Fire hydrants are being flushed throughout Fall River to ensure that they're in proper working order for fire department personnel, although the water in the system is also used for domestication purposes. Here's more.
If you were to size your system for the domestic consumption, it would be quite a bit smaller than the system that we have now. We have water mains that range in size from 6 inches up to 36 inches. And the size of those mains is for the fire protection, because when a fire occurs, each hose of a fire truck uses about 300 gallons a minute. The consumer only uses about 3 gallons a minute at any given time.
So it's the fire department, you said, that inspects the hydrants?
The fire department inspects the hydrants. They have a program going around the city, and they report to us any details that they find with respect to either not operating properly or being hit by an automobile or being in generally poor condition. And we'll take their list as long as the list that we, as well as the list that we generate, and we'll report back to them on the work that we've done.
How do you map it out?
We map it out for the flushing program beginning at the beginning of the distribution system, which is Bedford Street and up near Diamond near Reservoir. All of the water mains, with one exception, enter the system at that point and spread from there out. So we do the center of the city first on Bedford Street. We do the length of Bedford Street, and then we branch to the north and to the south, finally reaching Freetown and North Tiverton.
Now, when you flush them, when you open up the hydrant to flush, how long do you leave it flushing?
We leave it flushing until the water comes out clean. Usually it starts with a little bit of color from the leg of the hydrant, from the middle of the street, because the hydrant probably hasn't been used for a long time. And then we get a big slug that gets stirred up as the high flow starts to come in from the water main itself. And we wait for that flow to begin to run clear, and then we turn the flow down to just a trickle and leave it run for another hour. And I should say that the flow of dirty water usually lasts from, let's say, 1 to perhaps 7 minutes. And then we let it run at a slow rate for another hour just to be sure that all the disturbed material gets pulled out of the system.
More children in the city are entering kindergarten without basic skills like knowing how to tie their shoes or identifying geometric shapes. That was the message given to the South End Neighborhood Association recently by Executive Director of the Fall Rivers Children's Museum, Joanne Sprague, who explains how her organization helps solve this problem.
What we try to do is help families understand that, the importance of preschool and why we have to develop these little minds at an early age. There are some really staggering statistics coming out right now about how ill-prepared some of our kids are for kindergarten. One of them on the local level that just surfaced was that in the pre-kindergarten tests that are done just before they enter kindergarten, that our kids entering kindergarten last year, in 6 out of 10 of the schools, 50% could barely make a circle. They couldn't do the other geometric shapes. And what that tells me, we're seeing such an increase in kids with the electronics today. Every 2-year-old can open an iPad or a cell phone, but many of the kids going to kindergarten can't even grip a pencil. So the Children's Museum comes in a couple of ways. We're sitting in the room called Education Station, and it's a model pre-K room. So some of the signage on the walls helps parents understand, like scribble stage, that you have to scribble before you can write, those kinds of things. And we host weekly programs here called Play and Learn in partnership with the Fall River Public Schools. It's designed for families that aren't in preschool programs yet. They get an hour and a half of a preschool class, so they're introduced to circle time, and it's very literacy-based. Children go home every week with a book. We do not charge families to come in for this event. They can come in, and then they can stay all day if they want at the Children's Museum. So it's a way of helping get them in the door and helping educate families as to what early childhood education is. Many families, want the edutainment. They want the bells, the whistles. They want the Chuck E. Cheese experience. And we're trying to teach them through our space the importance of how children learn by discovering and exploring.
The Fall River Boys and Girls Club will have applications for summer camp available beginning April 13th. Camp Welsh in nearby Assonet is a 9-week summer program that is open to area youngsters 5 years old and up.
It's a typical camp program. We do not, thank God, we do not have a waterfront. But we have 2 Olympic-sized swimming pools. So you start with that, and then you add, you know what, we have 2 basketball courts, we have 2 baseball fields, we have outdoor playgrounds, we have sandboxes, swings, and arts and crafts under the trees. We have settings, so if it rains, God forbid, worst day ever is a rainy camp day, but our staff is extremely good at keeping them occupied, so we have buildings inside also for that.
Technology. People are glued to their phones, and we don't want that for the kids in the summer.
Yeah, you know what? Leave that, check that stuff at home. Not even check it in your backpack when you come. It's on our application. There's no electronics allowed at camp. When the kids are at the club here, we let them keep them in their pocket. And if you're not a high school kid, you can actually go to the front desk and use it. High school kids, they can use their electronics. But out at summer camp, no. It's an opportunity to disconnect, to get out in nature and experience what we have to offer, and, of course, to make new friends.
We'll have more FRC Media News right after this. Next year, the City of Fall River will be negotiating a new contract with Comcast to provide cable service to subscribers. Public input is essential to a successful contract renewal. To collect this input and to better position the city to meet its communications needs for the next 10 years, FRC Media has commissioned a community needs assessment. We need your help. We're holding a series of 3 focus group meetings to gauge community interest in the future of cable communications in Fall River. The meetings are grouped by special interests. However, attend any meeting you'd like based on your schedule. The first will be held Wednesday, May 16th from 3:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. and will focus on local education. The second will be held Thursday, May 17th from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. for local government officials and businesses. The final focus group will also be on Thursday, May 17th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. This will be geared toward local nonprofit organizations and the community at large. All meetings will take place in the community room at the Spencer Borden Elementary School, 1400 President Avenue. Refreshments will be served. For more information and to register for a focus group meeting, visit frmedia.org/focus groups or call us at 774-357-2391. Help us shape the local communications landscape in Fall River. Take part in our community focus group sessions May 16th and 17th.
So today we have Bella. She is a 1-year-old female guinea pig. She's very sweet. She likes to be handled. She's very calm in my arms right now. She was also a owner surrender, so her owner couldn't take care of it anymore. That's why she's at the shelter. And if you can see, she has like a perfect black side and a perfect white side to her face. She's really, really cute. If you'd like to come down and see her, we're at Forever Paws, 300 Linwood Street, Fall River, Mass. And we are open every day to the public, 11 to 4, but Wednesdays.
Hi, welcome to Hot Dogs and Cool Cats. And today we have Miss Zoe here. Zoe's 11 years old. She's a cattle dog. She's very, very sweet. Sadly, her previous owner passed away, and now she's looking for a new place to live. She's being a little shy right now. And even though she's not much of a player, she's still got plenty of energy left. If we bring her outside to the play yard, she'll still bounce around with you, that sort of thing. But she's not one to play tug of war, that sort of thing. So if you'd like to come and meet Zoe, you can come down to 300 Linwood Street in Fall River, Massachusetts, and it's Forever Paws Animal Shelter. You'd like to have a new home, wouldn't you? I know, you're being shy.
The Fall River Fitness Challenge, sponsored by Greater Fall River Recreation, has ended with good results, as we hear in this report.
It went really well this year. We had just over 400 participants, which is a really nice amount. And we averaged from January through March about anywhere between 60 to 80 participants at each challenge, which was absolutely amazing. We started to see the slowdown toward the end, which we tend to do, but that's totally normal. The winner of the Finish Challenge this year did really well. We actually changed it up since last year. We used to have both a male and female prize winner, but we kind of noticed over recent years that the females really were keeping up with the males. And, you know, sometimes we had to scroll all the way down to like 70th place just to find a third place male winner, right? So we decided to change it up a little bit, and we did overall finishers. We upped the prize money, so it's $750 for first place, $400 for second, and $300 for third. So really upped the stakes a little bit, and the first prize winner did a really great job. They lost a good amount of weight, but a healthy amount of weight over the time, over the 12 weeks that we had them participate, because we don't want to encourage any crash dieting or over exercising. So they did a really great job.
That'll do it for this edition of FRC Media News. You can catch FRC Media News Thursday and Fridays at 6 p.m. and online 24/7 at frcmedianews.org. For all of us here at FRC Media News, I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great week. We'll see you next Thursday.